I'm here with Adam Green. He is one of the founders of PCCC, of course. All right, let's start with the standard, as you do with everybody. Who won the debate?
I think progressives won the debate. I think Bernie and Elizabeth once again were a 1-2 punch advocating for progressive ideas. I think that a lot of Democratic voters who are desperate to defeat Donald Trump saw in Elizabeth Warren somebody who doesn't just absorb attacks, but can do political jujitsu and turn attempted attacks into political strength. I mean, when Joe Biden started off saying, you never got anything done, and ended saying, Elizabeth Warren set up the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and did a hell of a job. Millions of people were learning that for the first time, and that's a net benefit for Elizabeth Warren. And the fact that she has the dexterity on the debate stage to do that, I think will reinforce the idea for voters that, we can trust her to be the nominee.
Is there any attack that the establishment candidates can do that could land on a progressive candidate? Because it seems like they keep saying, you're for too big a change, it's too hard, it's going to cost too much money. But every time they say it, Warren and Sanders go up in the polls, they don't go down in the polls, and the so-called moderates go down. So are they done for? I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any line of attack that's working against the progressives in this race.
So it's funny. I would say, yes, there are lines of attack that could work against progressives if we had incompetent progressives arguing the case. But in Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, we have two of the most competent people making the case for us because they have a cogent worldview, right? They are able to actually re-identify. It's like, no, I'm not advocating a left-wing position. I'm advocating an insider versus outsider position. And I'm uniting workers who are in your base and our base against the elites in both parties. And it's like, right, that's what corruption's all about, right? Corruption isn't a left-wing issue, as you know, right? Like, Donald Trump campaigned, he railed against Wall Street speeches. He railed against corporate trade deals. He railed against the swamp in Washington. He was lying about all of that. But he tapped into something very real, which is people's deep desire for systemic change. And that's what Elizabeth and Bernie are both talking about. So I'm very happy with the people we have arguing our case.
Yeah, and they've also both answered questions about campaign finance reform over the last week. Yeah. They both came out with strong proposals, including Warren tonight. Yeah. I think that one of the few remaining questions that's left, Adam, for Senator Warren is Medicare for all. Now, there are some progressives who say, well, is she as committed as Bernie Sanders is to it? And yet tonight, she's the one aggressively defending it. But Bernie says, hey, listen, I wrote the damn bill, and that's fair. So what's your take on that?
I have so many takes on this. Okay. I think tonight there were actually two debates that she had with Pete Buttigieg, one that she squarely won and one that she battled to a draw. I think she permanently has redefined his proposal as Medicare for all who can afford it, meaning millions of people cannot fork over the thousands of dollars to buy his plan. And I think that was a light bulb moment for many voters and for many reporters in this room. It's like, that's what he's proposing, right? Yeah. That might have been a knockout punch for one of his signature proposals. On the question of taxes, I think that we need to go a little bit further and say that anybody who's trying to get Democrats to say that taxes would go up is attempting to deceive voters because Medicare for all is like a tax cut for voters. Right? You want these magic words that you can use deceptively on camera. We're not going to give you that. We are going to make the case that costs will come down, right? And if you're trying to push that, you're deceiving voters. Don't talk to me about truth. You stop deceiving people. I think we can go a little bit further in making that case. I think Bernie has made a variation of that case. I think she has made a variation of that case. And hopefully we make that case going forward.
Do you have any idea how strong a priority it is for Elizabeth Warren to do Medicare for all?
I think it's a very strong priority to do Medicare for all. I think she's deeply committed. Look, I would push back against the idea that there is one bill. There is not just one bill. Bernie's bill this year is different from Bernie's bill last year, is different from Pamela Jayapal's current Medicare for all bill in the House, is different from Keith Ellison's Medicare for all bill in the House last year. That's 4 ways of accomplishing what everybody would agree is Medicare for all, right? Nobody was calling Bernie a sellout last year because of his bill, which is different from his bill this year. So let's just establish that there's multiple ways of doing it. Her point is, bottom line, I will pass Medicare for all. Costs will go down for families. People will not be dependent on private insurance. We will have no copays, deductibles, premiums, or out-of-network doctors. That's the principle. How will we pay for it? There's a million ways we can pay for it. That's her point. So I'm not going to tie myself down to one proposal for paying for it when there's many ways. But I assure you, I think tonight was her strongest language yet. I will not sign a bill that does not bring down costs for families. And that's exactly what I think people need to hear.
Yeah. Look, now this is my opinion. Yeah. I think the establishment's in a world of trouble. Yeah. All of their attacks are being counterproductive.
Yeah.
And when you have to go to Medicare for all, blah, 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 that means Medicare for all is popular. That's why you named your non-Medicare for all proposal Medicare for all, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, at this point, the Klobuchars, I'll just leave it at Klobuchar, but there's so many other candidates there. What's their reason for even staying in this race?
I think there's some Hail Marys going on at this point. I'm biting my tongue with the Klobuchar stuff, honestly. but I think let's put it this way. I think that Amy Klobuchar made her truest case for her actual candidacy tonight than she ever has before. In the past, she was like, I'm a progressive. Okay, tonight she was not saying those words on stage. So, let the chips fall where they may. If she wants to make that argument to a Democratic primary electorate especially, okay, and it will be a sweeter victory when Bernie and Elizabeth are at the top of the pack in a couple months and a bunch of the conservatives are falling by the wayside.
All right, Adam Green from PCCC. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you. TYT Army, too strong.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.